Hello, and welcome to Rethinking Our History, where we seek to shed a light on events that have been forgotten and covered up, and to make us all question how much do we really know about our history? I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian, and we are here to reveal all the sordid details of history that have been swept under the rug. Get ready to get angry, be curious, and maybe have a laugh or two as we rethink our history.
Hello, friends.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us for another lesson, number 54. Hey, guys, like my glasses.
54.
Hey, guys, like my glasses. This year I'm going to turn 40. And, all right. We're back with a missing persons case this week. Oh, I hate these, and I hate myself for. Yeah, no. I hate these, and I hate myself for doing these, but they need to be told.
Yeah, it's true.
This is actually a case that's been in the back of my mind since it happened. Um, so, and there's been a resurgence of podcasts covering this case. It made me want to cover this case too, honestly. So,
Kind of recent, I guess.
yeah, yeah. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson was last seen leaving a work site in Buckeye, Arizona on June 23rd, 2021, never to be seen again. In the 4.5 years since his disappearance, his father, along with the fathers of other missing people, have led the fight to find out what happened to the young geologist. Daniel was born on January 14th, 1997, to parents David Robinson II and Melissa Edmonds. When Daniel was born, he was missing the lower part of his right arm. This did not stop Daniel from living his life, however, and he was an amazing athlete. He attended and graduated from the College of Charleston, which,
Right on.
Yay, Charleston.
Yeah.
In 2017, with a degree in geology, he then moved to Arizona, where he found a job as a hydrogeologist.
All right.
Which, that
Kudos.
sounds cool. Water and rocks.
Yep.
At the time he went missing, Daniel was 5'8" and weighed around 165 pounds. He was a black man with black hair and brown eyes. At the time he went missing, he was living in Tempe, Arizona, and worked for Matrix New World, an engineering company, which, that sounds terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds suspicious.
An engineering company called Matrix New World? Excuse me?
It's a horrible name.
You're talking to millennials who grew up watching Neo combat this shit.
Yeah.
What? It was reported he was seen leaving his job site by a new employee who claims that Daniel was acting odd and was last spotted in his 2017 blue-gray Jeep Renegade near Sun Valley Park and Cactus Road around 9:45 in the morning, traveling west towards the desert. He would be reported missing later that day by his father, David, after his job reached out to tell him that Daniel had not returned to the job site. Investigators refused to search for Daniel at first, citing his age. He's a grown man. He can drive off into the desert and disappear if he wants to.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me?
It's the desert.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, a black man, so,
Right.
So David drove from Columbia, South Carolina to Arizona, over 2,000 miles away. That would be until a rancher found Daniel's Jeep on July 17th, rolled over in a ravine on his property. The airbags had been deployed, and it was evident that the driver had been wearing their seatbelt. Inside the Jeep, Daniel's cell phone, wallet, keys, and clothes were all found. The vehicle itself was still in drive, had damage to the front end, a broken driver's side window, and was missing part of the roof. Which, from the looks of the photo, it seems like the sunroof glass was missing.
Right.
Because I had to go, look at the photos
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I don't know my Jeeps off the top of my head
Yeah.
by year and make. So I was like, is this like a rag top or like hard top? And it's like one of the newer Jeep models that's like just all hard and it has a sunroof and it looks like
Yep.
maybe he crawled or was pulled out of the wreckage.
Yeah. It looks like they may have broke it to get him out.
Yeah.
Maybe whoever
Or
it
he
was,
broke it from
or
the inside to get out.
yeah, maybe he like kicked it out.
Which, but if like the driver's side window was broken, why would he need to kick out the
Sunroof
sunroof?
too. Hmm.
Maybe it,
I don't know.
maybe if it rolled over, it got shattered in the wreckage, but I don't know.
Yeah. It looks like it rolled.
Yeah.
So
Late that same month, a skull was found in the area south of where Daniel's Jeep has been found, but later DNA testing proved it not to be Daniel, and no other human remains were recovered at the time.
hmm.
The Buckeye Police Department released a statement on September 16th, 2021, announcing, quote, they had worked with outside agencies to search over 70 square miles with the assistance of UTVs, cadaver dogs, drones, and helicopters, end quote. Which doesn't seem like enough, in my opinion, but it is 70 square miles of bleak, desolate desert.
Yeah.
So, at least they did something.
Right.
After the Jeep had been found, Daniel's family hired Jeff McGrath. Jeff is an accident reconstructionist and a private investigator who set out to do his own investigation. Jeff came to the conclusion that the accident had been staged. Quote, he stated that after the airbags deployed, the ignition was turned over 46 more times, and there was an additional 11 miles or 18 kilometers on the car's odometer that registered after the car had been crashed.
Huh.
McGrath also noted there was red paint on Robinson's Jeep that had been transferred from another vehicle, which suggested a collision prior to when the Jeep came to rest in the ravine. End quote.
Hmm.
And he got the odometer from the black box. I guess like
The computer.
the
Yeah.
computer within the Jeep. So if you have a computer in your vehicle, you have a black box
Hmm.
on your vehicle. So,
Yeah.
yay. This claim is somewhat supported by statements from the rancher who found the Jeep. He claims he had been out 2 days prior looking for his cattle and the Jeep had not been there. That led Daniel's family and others to believe that there was no way the Jeep had been there since Daniel disappeared.
Hmm.
After Daniel had went missing, someone had broken into his apartment, ransacked his closet, then got on his computer. His family had to push the Tempe Police Department to do forensics, but the police concluded that someone had just, quote, been fooling around on his computer, end quote.
Huh.
Which, like, but why though?
For real.
Y'all, if I look weird because I'm like doing this, I'm just trying to keep these old people patches on my back. That's all. In October of 21, the police revealed that Daniel had been messaging with a woman he met while working for Instacart. They state that the messages show he had been invited inside by the woman a few times, and the two had exchanged numbers and numerous messages. However, things took a turn in the messages when it became clear that Daniel had showed up at her house unannounced a few times, and she made it clear that his actions were making her uncomfortable. Everyone investigators talked to told them that while Daniel may have been upset with the things were turning out with the woman, there was zero indication Daniel was suicidal over the situation. Which, like, ain't no woman you just met from Instacart and worth you, like, running off to kill yourself in the desert. That's just stupid.
Yeah. I try to tell my friend at work that all the time.
We ain't even gonna get into the drama with that one.
Right.
On November 9th, the news broke that a second set of remains had been found and sent off for testing. However, based on an initial investigation, it is believed the remains were the wrong race and had been out longer than Daniel had been missing. which, like,
So they found another dead person just kind of
listen,
out there?
the dead people that they find, it's a lot.
No shit.
Criticism of the investigation was quick and loud. Daniel went missing 2 months before Gabby Petito went missing while on a van trip with her boyfriend. But any news coverage of Daniel's disappearance was quickly and fully overshadowed by the search for Gabby.
Right.
Add to that the fact that the Buckeye Police Department set out to investigate Daniel as a missing person, giving it no sense of urgency. The police were also quick to rule out foul play, but both David and the investigator Jeff believed they did not do enough to completely rule it out. Which, like, how you gonna say there's no foul play if there's, like, red paint on the Jeep that shouldn't be there? If it wasn't there when he left the job site that morning.
Kind of looks like somebody pulled him out of there.
Right? Like, why? Who's got it out against this guy?
Right.
Does the girl from Instacart have a crazy ex-boyfriend?
Right.
Because, sometimes they can murder people and the cops don't look into that. And, I mean, we're no longer talking about Daniel, but that's fine. So, when a young blonde haired, blue eyed woman goes missing while traveling with a man, the disappearance of a young black man got pushed to the back burner. This phenomenon is known as missing white woman syndrome and is not just something black indigenous people of color have come up with. Gabby's own father, Joe Petito, has called out investigators and the media for their lack of care and coverage for cases of missing BIPOC. David is not giving up looking for his son. He led a search in April of 2025 and has sat down with the new investigators from the Buckeye Police Department who are now investigating Daniel's case. He also sat down with Arizona state senators in an attempt to craft legislation that would make it easier to get information on missing persons. He is now pushing for Daniel's clothes that were found at the scene and the airbags from the Jeep to be tested. I do not know a lot about the mechanics of how airbags work, but David believes that the passenger side airbags being deployed signify that someone was in the seat. So I don't know if... I always thought that, like, if you got in a crash, all your airbags deployed at the same time.
Right.
But he's saying that, I don't know if it's just this specific model of Jeep or what, but you have to have somebody actually physically sitting in the seat for the passenger side airbag to deploy in the event of a crash. So they're saying all the airbags were deployed, so somebody else had to be in the car with him.
Huh.
David,
Interesting.
yeah. And it's like, was it a girl? Because
Right.
men are scary and do crazy shit for women.
Yeah.
David spent time in the military and uses the skills he learned there to search for his son. Quote, I left the desert of Afghanistan and ended up in the desert of Arizona searching for my son, but I would have never thought it would have been the case where the training I had to never leave a fallen comrade would also mean not leaving my son behind and still try to fight for him as well. End quote. Adding to his frustrations are the theories the police have given him, at least in the beginning. One officer suggested maybe Daniel had joined a monastery and become a monk.
Huh.
The actual fuck?
There's
Dude?
monks out in the desert.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. It's like perfect, ideal location for them to build a temple. Ain't nobody fucking out there. They can be all quiet and shit and mysterious. But, like, what? Like, where does that theory even come from?
Right.
So David wasted time going out and finding local temples to see if Daniel was there, but nothing. During the searches David has organized, they have found 7 other sets of remains belonging to other victims.
Jesus.
7.
I mean, the mob used to bury people in the desert, so
It's not just the mob, it's serial killers.
yeah.
Like, you're talking about miles and miles and miles and miles of just nothingness that
Yeah.
nobody ever really goes out in.
Right.
You can dump bodies out there and, like, nobody's going to find them before they're bones.
It reminds me of when I lived in Silva.
What about it?
It was up Moses Creek, the road Moses Creek, way out. Like this is like it. Caney Fork was the road that most of the frat houses were on or whatever. But like, so you go past the frat houses, go up Caney Fork, and then go up Moses Creek. It was probably around 8 miles
Mm-hmm.
out that road that me and my buddy Dave used to live. And so while we were living there, I lived there, for a very brief time with him. And within the month or two that I lived there, they found a dead body that was like right up the road from my house.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be
Yep.
suspicious. All right.
And it had been there for 5 years.
Jesus.
Yep.
Well,
Because,
it's
like,
like
it's just remote out there.
when we lived out in Candler,
Yep.
there was that
It's kind
little
of like
park
that.
across the street from the road that we lived off of, and we found a sign
Yep.
talking about a lady named Judy Smith who disappeared while on a business trip with her husband to Philadelphia, and they found her remains in that park in a shallow grave
Yep.
like 4 years later, and her case is still unsolved.
Yep.
The actual fuck?
And that place was, just as remote.
Which, come to think about it, I wonder if that was the national park killer. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Maybe.
Hold that thought, because he had some time here.
Yeah.
So during the April search, Joe Petito came out to help to look for Daniel, because Joe's not an asshole.
Right.
The disappearance of Daniel has done more than just get David out looking for him and helping other families find their missing loved ones. David has ran in 2024 and will again be running in either 26 or 28 for a seat in South Carolina's 2nd Congressional District. So, y'all live in South Kakalaki, go vote for this man. He is hoping that if he can win a seat, he may be able to create real change, at least within his own state, for how missing person cases are handled. If you know anything about what happened to Daniel Robinson in June of 2021, please contact the Buckeye Police Department at 623-349-6400. You can also contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-843-5678. I pray and hope that David and Daniel's mother can get the answers they deserve. No parent should have to go through the not knowing of what happened to their child, and I hope wherever he is, Daniel is at peace. And that is the sad missing persons case of Daniel Robinson. He was such
Crazy.
a handsome little fella.
Mm.
I say little fella, he's like 6 inches taller than me. But I don't know. I hope that like there's some weird psycho that maybe has him like in a dungeon or something, but
Right.
he was probably murdered by some psychotic man.
Probably.
So there's that.
There's lots of possibilities.
I mean, it is. And who knows? Maybe he got in an accident. Maybe somebody like did hit his car, ran off. His car rolled into a ravine. He crawled out, wandered off into the desert because he hit his head, died.
What's the new information on missing Daniel Robinson? They like arrested a guy for passport fraud. You see
Oh, I have
that?
no idea. I didn't run into that. That's fascinating. But I don't know. It's like, well, if the car wasn't there 2 days before that farmer was out there, how did it get there? Where'd the extra 11 miles come from?
Yeah.
Why did it turn over 46 times? Like, what's going on?
And there's another picture that I found. This is both from Action News, number 5. Said that a guy was charged, Gary Chester, first-degree murder.
Oh, Daniel?
Uh, that's what the thing says, but I can't. Let me try to pull up the story.
You said Gary Chester?
Yeah.
What a name. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about it over
No,
here.
I think it was just some headlines that were like jumbled together.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
how they do that with news
They do
sometimes?
that.
I hate that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week, guys. Sorry to bum you out. We'll have hopefully a less bumming history lesson next week.
Yeah,
No promises.
right.
I'll be covering more of Winston Churchill if you want to hop over to Patreon. $5 a month.
Yeehaw.
Find out about that fucking jackass. God bless. All right.
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. We hope you guys all have a good week. Oh, excuse me. We will see you guys next week.
Be kind to each other.
Love you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.